acoustic law. You know what I mean? Ta 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 ta. Fuck, where was I? Oh, eventually I'm going to talk about a production idea. You know what? Let me set up a little bit of stuff in here just so I got some shit ready to make noise when I turn off this music player. Or pause it anyway. Fuck, how do I want to set you up? I want some noise in here. What kind of noise making do I want? I like those groove boxes. They're easy to work with, I think. Let me see if I can figure out. So another thing that annoys me is players within, like these rappers, I call them. I don't know what, there's probably a more accepted, widely used sort of general term for these, but like Reactor's one, Contact is another one. Those are both from Native Instruments. I just happen to have them because I got them in a package at some point. But I don't like that. The thing that kind of just annoys me sometimes is because of the way they work, they're great for modularity. So there's things that they do very, very well, and I love it. I just wish the other things that I like using them for were a little better, and I don't know what the solution is. So it's not really a criticism so much as just a general me being a complainer, but like I can find neat shit in here, so there's at least that. I forget what there was something else I was gonna say about them being annoying, but whatever it was. I don't want Limelight, but I don't remember the name of the other one. Let's just look at a couple. No. Wait, any Sign Beats? No, there was one that looked kind of like that I wanted to see if I could figure out. Oh, I remember the thing that annoyed me. I'll explain it in a minute. Fun, but it's not what I want. Thing's called Massive also. Alright, not Limelight. Although, maybe I'll use L3. It's simple enough. But I wanted to see, there's one of these. I just don't remember what it's called. Of course, it's at the fucking beginning. Go Box. So there's some things I figured out about this that made it nice to work with too. And actually Limelight, and then I think there was even a third one. But then I forgot where they were. And so the easiest way for me is figuring out, oh wait, no. Okay, so I just gotta figure out how to get there, because it's like I go here, but it's not the right ones that I'm looking for. But like it goes, oh wait, hold on, maybe there's a drop in the drop down. No, not you. There's like one that has an init or initialized settings, but it's not, I don't know where to fucking find them. And usually what happens is I just right click in the right correct invisible space, and then no, I don't fucking know. You? No. And so it just works slightly different. Snapshots maybe? No. Maybe this one just didn't have them. I thought it did also though. But I can also, I feel like this one wasn't quite as big a pain in the ass to just fumble with as I go though, because it's not as complicated. Let's mess with that a little bit. Sorry, anyone, that last one was Rabbitello. I'm gonna, no, because it's like all this shit too. I mean, I can still use this particular sound. I just want to have a little more control over it is all. UAVB, okay, it's just something else. No. You. Anyway, this is like the Go box. Cool thing that I hadn't been playing with before with this. I haven't played with this thing a ton, so part of it too is like I'm like, fuck, I really want to find initialize so I can just really get into it, like starting with something that's a little bit more zeroed out, you know. And wait, what do you do? No? Oh, it resets at some point maybe. Yeah, no, it's like a setting. Shit. Well, I wonder if it's meant to do that way. Let me look here for a second. Let's not save that. And go back here and see what they give me. No. There, see, so like one of these just has it built in, but GoBox didn't, I don't think. But I'm gonna go look at that again anyway. So at least I know where I believe I'm looking. No. Fuck it, let's just use this and play with it a little bit. Okay, so it's like, no, that doesn't do that. I wanted to see if I can move that. I guess I gotta let it go to choose it. Gotta be like live. Oh, no. Okay, they're just all in there. Never mind. This isn't so bad. Okay, how do I... It's how short the loop is? Maybe I want those higher. Okay, I think I'm just gonna make this work for now. So the third prompt of Loud Cafe, I thought that was weird boring. No, I'm not. It's just chill time. What is this noise, y'all? Anyway, my third prompt is one production idea. And so the thing I wanted to talk about today was just my default project setup for how I like to play with a lot of my stuff. Now, once I get going, I'll adjust these when I need to. Sometimes, like I have a couple projects where I only use this, what I'm calling the drum bus right now. And I'll just delete or not use this side chain bus at all. And so this is sort of a modified idea from something. I'm pretty sure this is like another idea I got from Mr. Bill. I have this bad habit. I don't know. I have this habit. Maybe it's not bad or good, but maybe crediting Mr. Bill too much. But it's just because I've seen so many of his videos, because when he has these like explainer videos, which are just like him chilling in his studio, just fucking talking like relatively unedited, like just as if you're in the studio with them. And for whatever reason, my brain just really like gels with that. Plus, I think the way that he thinks is similar to the way I think in enough ways that it makes him, I don't know, like my brain really like vibes with a lot of the ideas that come out of his videos, and so then I can peel stuff from that. But anyway, so I think what I was watching a Mr. Bill video, and he was talking about at the time that that video came out, how he, I think, did something similar to this, like a drum bus and sidechain thing. Might have been a different producer that I stole this from, but I think it was him. And then really just because anything that he's going to sidechain compress out here from the main bus, this is like the main bus is a sidechain bus. He might even call that main or something. And so like this right here is connected to the drum bus. Everything comes from the drum bus. I ultimately then go through my compressor, which right now in my default setup is just this TDR Molotov is the free version. I'm assuming they have a paid version of this also. But this thing is nice and fairly versatile as far as like sort of quick attack compressors go. And so this doesn't work necessarily great, although you can do, if you get out here into Sigma, it'll do some, like this setting here, out here towards Sigma or all the way into it, it'll do more, it'll handle with a little bit more finesse, more complex signals, bus type compression, but they also make another bus compressor that's fucking outstanding. Anyway, so the idea just being that this main bus here is side chaining compression here. Sometimes I'll swap this for some specific band, narrow band compression using like a dynamic EQ type of setup and side chain into it that way. And so what'll happen here is I have this routed here. This is the input on the side chain coming from the drum bus. I like to tell it post effects what to do, although a lot of times if I'm going to end up using this mixer, I'll end up doing a post mixer more than likely, unless I have some specific reason where I don't. But then where I started to evolve it, so like a lot of times my main instruments will go down here, but one of the things I started running into a lot is that, I wonder if I turn off the high with the bass, just sounds like right now. This is fun. I might add a little tiny bit of lay on this low bus here and then filter it out on a, in parallel, just to get some delay on just those little bits of high end. So you end up getting just this tiny little sort of band pass right here once I get it going on. But anyway, so why I started doing it this way, this setup that I got here, is because in a number of situations I was finding I wanted to do some multi-band compression or some other kind of things where I'm doing some effects to, like, say, the high end and effects to the low end, and I wanted them handled differently. And one of the places I was doing this a ton was with like drum kits. And so this is behaving as a drum kit right now of sorts, and it's got stuff coming through it, sound output coming out, and we got all this different complex signal coming through here. We got some highs, we got some mids, we got these lows coming through. And so I was constantly like splitting them into high and low, or even trying to, you know, take care of them in 3 bands. And part of the reason why is, like, you look here and these lows are coming in just so much higher peaks than down here. And so when I was trying to do stuff where if I messed with the dynamics at all out here, so any kind of compression, saturation even, and like gating anything, then what would happen is a lot of this signal would interfere with what I was trying to do over here, or I would do stuff to here, but then it would do too much to the low end, and so it would cause all these problems. And so I wanted to be able to mix it into high and low. And I can split them even more if I actually, I'm going to probably do that here. I'll split the low into to low and mid to an extent. It's going to be a sort of a bit of a neutered mid just because it'll have already been low passed so low by the time I get there. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So like there's a whole bunch of shit here too, and like sometimes the drums, you know, come from samples that would be a little bit unwieldy to like try and process by hand or break down in other ways. And so this can be good for mixing stuff that's a little bit more cumbersome to deal with this. Like I could go into this right here since I have this synth that's making all these sounds and adjust this some. So like I could bring down the gain on, where else do I want to do? I guess just here. Is that on one? Turn you off for a second. That one. Just bring this level down a little bit. That'll help. Try to see where that is, where that's coming from. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one for now. Okay, we'll turn you back on. Okay, sorry. I was getting myself distracted with the sound, which is fun also. So now it's not quite so messy, but still, this gives me more control over it now, so I can split up the high and the low. Now, in some ways, I already do stuff like this. Like I have multi-band dynamics that I'll throw in here. A lot of people call it OTT because of one of the presets. And but it splits this into high, mid, and low, and I can adjust the frequency bands that I'm working with. And so that gives me some flexibility, right? And this thing's actually pretty fucking dope because it's got compression on the top, it's got the expansion on the bottom. You really have like multiple dynamics that you're effects that you're working with all in one sort of interface here, and that's super, super, super handy. But sometimes I want to do more to just the high, right? Or just the medium. And so that was part of the issue also that I was running into. Sometimes I was like, well, I want to do more than just compress and expand it. And so like, I want to add my own, you know, saturation or this or that or the other. And so now this is my high bus. I have everything routed up into here first. What makes this my high bus is I have a high pass filter here. I use Nova for it. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to move you way down. And what was I gonna say? Oh, and so I just have a high pass on here, and I'll adjust this to where I want it eventually. I usually don't want to get so much of the low, but there's a little bit of those mids I want to try and make sure I pull up in here. This is the one thing I got to be kind of careful of when I mix this way. So I got this high pass here, and then the same thing, it goes up into the high pass filter, so that way I'm grabbing everything that goes into this bus. So everything that goes into the high bus is also getting routed into my low bus now. And the way I do that is by pulling straight from the kit high right here. But I'm gonna put effects in here. So all those effects would affect what's in the low. For example, the first effect is a high pass, right? So if I high pass everything and then send it down to the low bus, I don't have anything left of that low end, right? I already cut out everything that I wanted to have down here. So what I do is I just set this to pre, and so it grabs everything before any of these effects hit, including that high pass filter, and sends it all down here. So now the problem with that is if I don't have this on, look, it's sending everything down, so I'm just getting double. So the way I make this my low channel, my low track, is I just use my low pass filter here. I'm not gonna end up using that. And so then that's it. And then both of these go right here into the main drum bus. So it puts the high and the low back together again. and then I can just do some bus effects on top of that as I see fit. All right, so let's keep messing with this. One of the things I said I wanted to do is add in some delay to this stuff here. Oops, I did this wrong. Not you. I want to turn you off. That's the other thing here is it makes the routing kind of funky when I want to hear just pieces of it, but I can turn off the high, and this is still, it still has the full signal going down here. Like if I turn this off, I'm still getting the full signal. So if I want to hear just what my low sounds like, I can just turn off the high. I wanted to pull just a little bit of that. Maybe a little bit more of you. All right, let's get rid of some of this middle stuff here. I think I like that. Find out how much of this sub I want in. Wow, that is a really good sub. Okay, I'll leave it all in. It's a very supportive sub. It's like it's whatever's that, however that sample, that kick sample's built is it just adds volume to it that we're not really hearing that, but what we're hearing is it adds also some harmonic resonance to the rest of this, a little bit of amplitude modulation, but because it resonates with those same frequencies there, it just makes it sound louder as opposed to, so sort of like it's just built-in saturation in a way. And then but otherwise what happens is that this frequency is off just a little bit, then the harmonics of it come off just a little bit here. It can make things a little bit muddier, but or more interesting, just depending. So I don't always want it or all of it. So this works as sort of like a dry wet for how much amplitude modulation we hear from introducing these sub frequencies here. Or if it's like this sort of, this is like increasing, decreasing, sort of that saturation feel. So it's just kind of like the kick coming through. Now it's thickening. And so, like, again, we can't really hear any of that. If I go all the way back to there, like, I can't hear shit. Like those peaks are that high, and I'm probably in my own headphones hearing like peaks down here. So what that's really doing is it's just affecting the signal that we do here. Sort of over explaining, that's not what I meant to talk about, but there we are. There we have it. Let me grab this. I'm gonna use this just because I like the visualizer on it while I'm working with my EQs, but I like a visual EQ. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pass-through or dry channel here. I'm going to call it pass-through because, I don't know, I'm goofy. I have kind of a reason. It doesn't really matter, but it's what I'm doing. And so then this right here, I'm going to high pass. So right now I just doubled the sound. This should sound the same. Yeah, roughly. Now that doubled it. So what I'm going to do is, actually I want to solo you though. I want to hear just you because I just want to hear this for a minute. I want to cut off more of the that low pop from the kick, just because yeah, I don't want it to hit too hard when I introduce the delay that I'm going to introduce. This sounds basically the same. This added a little bit to the to that, just those mid bits, but that's because I'm gonna delay these. I wanna think, yeah, I wanna saturate this a hair. See, I think I like you for the saturation on this. This is Fat Drive from Analog Obsession. I'm kind of obsessed with it. that, I think. Okay, look at some delay in here. Ooh, better yet, let's do this. I'm gonna use deep. Too much feedback. Still too much. Let's clear the buffer or no? No. Actually, let me look at this real quick so I can see what's coming out of here. Because that's what I want to see, is just that I'm not letting out way too much of the high, because it'll just make some of the things a little bit more of a pain in the ass to deal with later if I don't address them directly in this bus, this channel. I don't usually try to reintroduce mids and highs to my low bus or like lows to the high. I heard what I heard and I thought it was kind of neat. I wanted to run with it a little bit, maybe just a little bit less. There we go. Okay, let's see what the high. That's without it. More ambiance. I made it too loud, I think. Some of it, it's still too loud, but I'll take it down some there and some up there. I could also fine tune it more in the, actually, maybe I will. Hold on, let me check it in the here first and see if I like that better.